I'm standing by a window in indirect sunlight. As you can see, the application and the coverage is very similar. I don't think you can discern which side is which. The Andalou Naturals is a little bit lighter in the color. It's sheer tan and this is tan, so this has a little bit more of a yellow undertone to it. But otherwise I would say that they are a very similar dupe for each other in consistency, application, coverage, spreadability. As far as the dry down goes over time, right now I have an oil on my face, so they feel very similar. If you like the Andalou Naturals, but you're looking for a product without silicones, which is why I originally picked this one up, then you might try this. If you like this, but you don't want that $55 price tag because you use sunscreen so often, then this might be a great option for you. Let me take you around my house and show you a couple things that are sparking joy. That's right, I said sparking joy. Now normally I'm not a fan of the whole like Marie Kondoing sparking joy. However, I wanted to show you this. I used to have those vines hanging above my sink, but then they started to look really crowded, so I turned them into this plant wall with a bunch of mason jars, and I think it looks so chic now. The other thing I want to show you in my kitchen that's sparking joy is, so I went to Target to buy some mason jars for another project I'm working on involving plants, and they had this vintage style. Isn't that shape and color just divine? And they had them in bigger ones too. They just look so beautiful in my kitchen, and every time I use them I'm happy. And isn't that the definition of sparking joy? So really quickly I wanted to delve into the topic of social media. Do you ever feel like social media is corroding our society? I do in some ways. In some ways it's so positive and brings us together in so many ways, but in other ways I can see it being really detrimental to our psyches as people. This is something I've been observing and thinking about for a long time, but this all came to a head for me in the end of last year when I found myself getting into these discussions with people over direct messages about like the minutia of stuff, or into like an opposing viewpoint of something. And I found the conversations to get really almost confrontational in a not positive way. And when I reflected on them, when I stood back and reflected on them, I found that it was that at times we were talking about heavily weighted topics, things that you really only talk about with people you know well, or close friends or family maybe even. And these conversations were void of any of the normal things that go into a conversation, like body language, eye movement, intentions, facial responses, all the important things that go into a person-to-person communication. And you know, these people didn't know me, I didn't really know them, and I just was like, wow, it really made me reflect on social media in the sense that so oftentimes we see the innermost thoughts of people without really knowing them. So often I feel like I'm observing these conflicts on social media that really are arising out of everything that I just mentioned, where you don't really know someone, you don't know their background, you don't know the experiences that brought them to saying something like that, or just all these conflicts that are arising from like a lack of community, a lack of understanding. And it just, I don't know. What do you think about that? So social media and that whole topic kind of came up in my mind recently when I got the new June Beauty Heroes box by Natuer. I had never been drawn to this brand simply because I observed her getting into an Instagram conflict a couple years ago. So I had never been drawn to this brand. However, when I found out I was being featured in Beauty Heroes, I wanted to give it a try. And I wanted to give it a try in a very ruthless way because I was like, she talks a big game, the founder of this brand. And let's see how amazing these products are. Okay, so the hero product was the Ageless Body Serum. It comes in a full size, I think it's around 4 ounces. One of the first things that struck me about this product was the brilliant applicator. It's a body oil, and here you have a dispenser top that controls the amount coming out. I love it. It is plastic, so recycle. That did surprise me that it came in a plastic bottle. So one of the things she uses as one of her selling points is this ingredient sourcing. She is very anti-GMO, which was actually one of the things when I first found her, I was very drawn to her about. She does a lot of education and sharing of resources related to the evilness of GMOs and Monsanto. And so that's why she really champions the fact that her ingredients are sourced from Europe, outside the US. There are times, I have to admit, that marketing bothers me a little bit because there are plenty of great places to source things from here in the US. It is a little more green to not always be importing everything from another country. However, I understand where her mentality comes from, and that is she's really committed to this non-GMO, non-pesticides cause. So one of the focuses of the body oil is that it's an anti-aging product and that it contains caffeine. I don't really know that, much is going to help my cellulite, but, throw it in. I'll take it. I'll try it. It also contains vitamin C. The holy oil is very similar in composition to the oils that she uses in the product. It does contain a high amount of essential oils. So this product particularly smells very strongly of rose. This one, the scent is much lighter. So what struck me as unique and interesting and very thoughtful about both of these products is the user experience of the oil. And what I mean by that is from the moment you open the product to the way that you apply it, meaning like partly the applicator, to the way it feels on your hands, to the way it goes onto your body, to the way it absorbs. One of the things that struck me about using both of these products is that I can tell that she must have tweaked the ratios of the oils extensively to have figured out how to make the product apply so beautifully. And when I say that, I mean that it goes on, it feels very smooth, it absorbs quickly, and it leaves your skin moisturized. That's not as easy to do as it sounds. Maybe if you have a very normal skin type, whatever body oil will work for you. But that's not been the case for me. Some feel nice going on and then they really don't moisturize my skin or do anything but absorb quickly. So for both of these products, I found them really delightful to use, particularly also because I love the smell of rose. What's your thoughts? Did you try the products? And I'll see you next week. I have a bunch of fun things planned for next week that I just couldn't get together in time for this week. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye.